Every year, when garlic gets cheap, I always take the chance to buy a lot like this to use over time. But I always worry, because if garlic isn't stored properly, it goes bad very quickly. There was a time when I kept garlic in plastic bags. Just a few days later, the garlic dried out, sprouted, and some cloves even started to rot. After that, I tried many different methods. In the end, I only kept 3 storage methods that are simple, cost-effective, and extremely convenient for everyday cooking. Today, I'm sharing each step with you. Let's do it together. The first tip is the simplest one. I usually use it when I only have a small amount of garlic in the kitchen. First, I choose garlic bulbs that still have their skins on, are dry, and feel firm in the hand like this. One thing I always keep in mind is that garlic should not be washed with water, because once garlic gets wet, the moisture increases, causing it to mold and sprout much faster. I use this paper bag here. I take a pair of scissors and cut a few small holes around the bag like this. It doesn't need many, about 4 to 5 holes are enough, so the garlic doesn't get suffocated like it does in plastic bags. What I like about paper bags is that they absorb moisture well. Garlic stored this way is much less likely to mold and sprouts much more slowly. Simple, inexpensive, and environmentally friendly. Now I put the garlic into the bag, just a moderate amount, not packed too tightly. I always leave the garlic a bit of space, because if it's packed too tightly, it can't breathe and goes bad faster. Once that's done, I place the bag of garlic in a cool, well-ventilated corner of the kitchen, away from direct sunlight. Since using this method, whenever I cook, I just take a bulb out, peel it, and use it right away. The garlic stays fragrant and firm, and it keeps for about 2 to 3 months, which is very convenient for everyday cooking, without worrying about dried out garlic or sprouting like before. This method is simple and convenient for everyday use. But if your kitchen tends to be humid, or your garlic keeps sprouting after a while, then this next tip will help you put an end to that completely. With this method, I keep the garlic with the skins on, without peeling them, because the outer skin is a natural protective layer that helps garlic retain its aroma longer and prevents it from drying out during storage. First, I put 1 to 2 tablespoons of baking soda into the bottom of the jar, like this. The baking soda helps absorb moisture inside the jar, keeping the garlic dry, preventing mold, and most importantly, stopping it from sprouting. Now I place the garlic into the jar, without packing it too tightly. I simply set each bulb in neatly. That's enough. After 1 layer of garlic, I sprinkle a thin layer of baking soda on top like this, then add another layer of garlic. I keep repeating these layers until the jar is full. What I like most about this method is how simple it is. No refrigerator, no equipment needed. Just a sealed jar and a little baking soda is enough. Once everything is arranged, I close the lid tightly and place the jar in a dry, well-ventilated spot, away from direct sunlight. I usually replace the baking soda after about 1 to 2 months. On humid days, I open the jar for a while to let the garlic breathe a bit. It doesn't need long, just 1 to 2 hours is enough. Since I started using this method, the garlic has stayed fragrant and the flavor hasn't changed at all. It doesn't sprout or turn yellow on the skin even a little. This method works very well for keeping garlic whole, dry, and less likely to spoil. But if you want garlic to always be ready to cook with, without having to peel or crush it every time you step into the kitchen, then you'll definitely like this next tip. I start with garlic cloves that have already been peeled like this. Then I put them into the food processor. I add 1 tablespoon of vinegar and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Doing this helps stabilize the garlic and limits bacterial growth once the garlic has been chopped. It also helps prevent the garlic from darkening and keeps it from losing its aroma too quickly during storage. Then I blend it until the mixture becomes thick. There's no need to make it completely smooth. Leaving it slightly chunky makes it more fragrant when cooking. Once it's blended, I divide the garlic into 2 portions. One portion goes into an ice cube tray like this. Each compartment is just enough for one cooking session. When needed, I simply take one out and use it right away. No measuring or extra prep required. Now I place the tray into the freezer and that's it. This method lets me store garlic for about 6 to 12 months. The remaining garlic goes into this small glass jar. This portion can be used for about 2 to 4 weeks. The garlic stays fresh and very convenient, and there's no need to thaw it every time you use it. Remember to leave about 1 centimeter of space below the rim of the jar like this. All right. Now I pour an extra layer of olive oil on top to prevent air from touching the garlic, especially to keep it from turning dark when the jar is opened. I use this jar of garlic for many different dishes, such as mixing into salads, spreading on toasted bread, or adding directly to stir fries. All of them turn out very appealing. After using it, just close the lid tightly and place it back into the refrigerator. When the garlic cubes in the tray have completely frozen, I take them out and separate each cube into a Ziploc bag. Each time I cook, I just take out 1 cube like this, and it's enough. I find this method truly quick and convenient. This method is extremely convenient for everyday cooking. But when garlic is in season and cheap, and I buy a larger amount to store, I need a storage method that's more open and spacious. If you also tend to store garlic in larger quantities, then this final tip is definitely worth trying. First, I place whole garlic bulbs into a paper box, or a small cardboard box like this. I usually do it this way because the box allows good airflow. Garlic stored inside doesn't get damp or trapped without air, so it spoils much more slowly. It only takes a little moisture for garlic to sprout or become soft very quickly. So for me, keeping garlic dry from the very beginning is the most important thing. Now, I take a paper towel, pour about 1 to 2 tablespoons of salt into the center, then wrap it up neatly, like this. I secure it lightly with a rubber band, just enough so the salt doesn't spill out. After that, I place the salt packet into one corner of the garlic box. At this point, the salt absorbs excess moisture in the air, helping keep the garlic dry and reducing the risk of mold. I really like this method because salt is very gentle. It doesn't change the garlic's smell, and doesn't affect its flavor at all. With this setup, the garlic has a dry, airy, and stable environment. Because of that, it can be stored longer, while the flavor remains just like when it was freshly bought. I place the entire box in a cool, dry spot, away from direct sunlight. What I find most interesting is that with just one very familiar kitchen ingredient, garlic can be stored for 3 to 5 months. This method is truly convenient. especially when you store garlic in large quantities, or when your kitchen is a bit enclosed. You'll always have garlic ready to use, without worrying about sprouting, mold, or losing its aroma. So that's it. I've shared all 3 garlic storage methods that I use every day in my kitchen. Depending on whether you have a lot of garlic or just a little, you can simply choose the method that feels most convenient for you. For me, kitchen tips don't need to be complicated. They just need to be easy to do, last a long time, and help me worry less every time I step into the kitchen. If you find this helpful, you can save it to use later or share it with your family and loved ones. I'm Annie Tips, wishing you relaxed and enjoyable cooking. See you in the next kitchen tips.